Alright, response video to a Professor Anton video, which is sort of response to a Tooltime video, which is a response to some crazy Christian guy video. So
it's pretty fascinating to sit here and listen to this debate, dialogue, discussion, haggle between AtheistAnidote and Tooltime. The larger issue that would need to be addressed is how much of all of this, the discussion, the haggle, the posturing of attitude, the concern over identity, the fear over being right or being wrong,
oh, come on. I mean, as arguments go, it's just an argument. It's a rational argument. I didn't see a whole lot of personality in the argument, so come on already.
The motivation to have the debate in itself, it's about death. It's about...
Oh, bullshit. I mean, what this focus of you phantasmagorical types on this death issue, like everybody's running around in a goddamn panic because they can't deal with being dead. Now, they might be able to not be able to deal with dying. Dying doesn't look like it kicks ass. I mean, sometimes it really actually sucks hard, big metal, spiky balls. Yeah, and sometimes you're lucky and you just drop dead. But most people aren't going to do that, so they know that dying doesn't kick ass. Okay, but the idea that you're going to be dead, especially be dead when you're old, like, oh yeah, that scares the hell out of me. Yeah, right, I can't wipe my own ass and I might die. Oh, big worry. I mean, come on, bullshit. And if you've talked to any old people, they're not sitting there saying, oh my goddamn God, I just don't know what I'll do if I'm not conscious some more. I mean, if I don't wake up in heaven, oh shit, I'm going to just shit bricks. I mean, they really aren't in a panic. They've lived their life, they reflect on their life. If they had the power to go backward, they would go backward. Alright, but they don't give a shit about tomorrow. They give a shit about yesterday. I mean, go talk to some old people. It's all about yesterday.
Fear of death and what the ultimate meaning of life is if we are just animals who die like all the other animals do.
Well, duh. I mean, we're quite obviously just animals who die just like all the other animals do. I mean, we're based, you're just going to deny evolution. You're going to deny that matter evolves in the universe. And that when it finds this magic bullet, so to speak, of a DNA molecule, it can do this reproducing thing and create this very animated, strange little configuration of matter. But that's all we are. We're a configuration of matter. We're temporary. The system is dependent on that temporary existence because the design isn't even capable of seeing past reproduction. I mean, that's all it exists for, is the reproduction. The DNA, that's it. It's a reproduction-focused initiative. There's no other agenda. And you can't do the reproduction thing in finite space unless somebody's doing some dying.
I've seen Tooltime before suggest that it may be possible for there to be some sort of personal afterlife.
Well, whoop-de-doo, whether he says that or not. Who cares what one atheist says, what may be possible? I heard some jackass, some creationist, somebody, quoting Dawkins, oh, the ideist guy, because Dawkins said well, sure, I mean, if you give me an unlimited probabilities, okay, there might be a probability that there's a Goldilocks and God exists. And maybe the three bears actually existed. Maybe it's possible. I don't know. The seven dwarfs? Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I mean, come on. Bullshit. We're talking about what the likelihood is. That's what logic and probability is. It's understanding. Well, logic is probability. Logic is recognizing the probabilistic outcomes. Okay, you're probably going to be wrong if you have a contradiction in your theory. The probability is probably 99.9999999, a zillion 9%.
Well, I agree that there may be, but there may not be at all. Part of the task in creating a robust criticism of Christianity is to suggest that it is a kind of cult of death denial.
Oh, whatever. A cult of death denial, whatever. No, we see what it is. It's a cult of a lot of shit. Okay? It's a cult of happily ever after. It's a cult of my mommy was one, so I'm going to be one. People are grown up in it. that's it's shoved into their brain early, and it's hard for them to get the fuck out. Like any other addiction a human being acquires, once they acquire it, the road out is a little trickier than the road in. But that's all it is. It's bullshit. It's an archaic piece of crap. It's a vestigial outcropping of ignorance. This is what ignorance does. It makes up bullshit stories, and then until it gets smart enough to know that it was bullshit, it's stuck with it. If this video goes over, it's definitely going to go over 10 minutes. So at the 11-minute mark, I'll cut it off, and the second half will be on the website.
And what we need is an atheism that recognizes itself as a theology. Be part of my
Why do we have to? We don't have to touch that word. So if you're a person that believes in rationality and attempting to be a realist, you're going to have to you force them to be a theologist. They can't be a realist without being a theologist. I mean, fuck you. That's just crap.
Position here that there's no way out of a theological position. To be a human is to be caught with some sort of theology that is.
Oh yeah, he's to be caught with the fact that you actually have to be decisive about some things. You actually have to you have to choose. The earth is round, the earth is flat. What's the evidence for the two sides? Okay, earth is round. I mean, yeah, you're going to have to make choices about things, especially things that are going to have real meaning. You're going to have to invest in gravity, and you're going to have to invest in the physics of momentum when you get into your car, and you're going to have to understand that if you're going 100 miles an hour, that you're not going to be able to stop until you've traveled at least 150 feet or whatever the number is. I mean, you're going to have to know some of this reality shit, and you're not going to be a theologist because you concede to reality. Damn it.
Atheism is the belief that there is no God. Now, if you say, I don't even have any beliefs about the divine at all, I'm not an agnostic, I'm not a theist, I'm not an atheist. If you say I'm none of those, I don't know, I mean, maybe an animal could be a true non-believer. But even
look, all you have to do is be sitting in some pile of ignorance, and you can sit in that position and say, well, look, I got no evidence of anything because I'm in ignorance. I don't know biology, and I don't know physics, and I don't have all the evidence of evolution. So yeah, you could be wishy-washy, perhaps. You could be uncommitted. Somebody could hand you the Quran and the Bible, and in an ignorant environment where you don't know their history, you just know them as books. How are we going to choose which one is the truth? Yes, you might just say, well, neither one of them is very convincing. But that's being an asshole. I mean, we don't have to. We're not ignorant anymore. We have no excuse for being ignorant. The truth is right in front of us. We know where we came from. We're the manifestation of reproducing matter. Period. We're little reproducing, consuming, and reproducing machinery. Period. It's not any more complicated than that. And any features that we have, any nuance that we have because in our evolutionary history, it played a role in making us more successful at consuming and reproducing. And that's why we're here, is because our ancestors were successful at it.
Atheists believe there's not a God. Now you might say, well, no, I'm just an agnostic. I refrain from all belief. Okay. Could be good.
Look, believing there's not a God is no more a bold statement than believing the earth is round. I mean, the evidence is there. There's no evidence for the other story. There's just eyewitness testimony, 2,000-year-old eyewitness testimony, and the profession of belief from people who were indoctrinated as children. But what other? There's no physical evidence of this God. There's no rational, logical evidence. It doesn't make any sense. I mean, you can't create an intelligence in your brain and say, yes, if I was the creator of the universe, I'd play all these little silly nursery school games with human beings. I'd curse people's children. That would be the way I'd punish somebody. Yeah, I'd curse their children. I'd punish children for the sins of the father. That would really make a lot of sense. Yeah, sure. Go sell that.
I don't know if that itself, though, isn't a kind of again, a theological position that this is the way that the person is helping to give context to what they're calling the meaning that is their life.
Well, look, you don't give context to what is the meaning that is your life. The definition of the meaning would have incorporated into it the context. The context is the history, it's the truth. So what's the truth? What are the facts? How do you glean what this thing means? And there's very few real hard facts, but the few that there are really good ones. The idea that my consciousness isn't better than your consciousness inherently, that my suffering doesn't mean more because I'm experiencing it than your suffering means because you're experiencing it. All right? These are little simple truths that we can glean, but they're powerful in defining meaning.
I think some people think that so much of what they do takes on a significance because they can imagine it having